everybody good to go?
Yep. Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:02 on 10/14/2020. Is that Linda? Who called in?
Hi, Linda.
Hey, Linda, how you doing? All right,
Everybody?
good to go then. All right, Linda, we just called the meeting to order, so you're just in time. Perfect. So yeah, hopefully we have a quick meeting here. We're just going to cover the senior center, and let's if everyone has the minutes in front of them from September 29th, if we could just take a quick review of those, and if anyone has comments or edits that need to be made in those. Let's hear it. How you called in?
Kevin Kelly.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing tonight?
Great. How are you all?
Good.
Very good, Kevin.
All right. Any questions or comments or anything on the minutes from September 29th that anybody would like to address?
No, I don't have any comment.
Right.
No comment.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written from September 9th, 2020. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl. If you could do a quick roll call, Alicia, that'd be great.
Larry?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Stephanie? Yes. Ed, is Ed here?
Ed's on the call, but I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. And so, Steve Kirby, do you vote on this?
Nope.
I do not.
And Stephen Shea?
Yes. And then John Miller is in the room here. John, do you?
Okay, John Miller?
Yes. He says yes. And Al was at the last meeting, if you'd like to vote.
Yes.
No, Al.
Well, then yes. Yes. So,
Yes. Yep. Al Campagna, yes.
All right. Thanks, Al.
All right.
Gotcha. All right, good. So everybody is approved, and then the motion passes. Great. All right, so we can get right into the first item on the agenda here is discussion of the senior center project and kind of where we're at. Update from Vertex, and they do have a photo presentation of progress, so that's good. We can review that. So Steve Kirby, I will hand the meeting over to you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. I'll start off with quick bullet points on progress since the last meeting. At the senior center, they have spread loam and they did hydroseed. We did find, though, that the hydroseed was a little thin, and there was some grading issues within the loam itself that have to be addressed. We also had some issues with lack of watering, although we did get a good soaking yesterday. Some of the areas are the seed is popping, but there's still some work to be done on that, and that is various areas both around the west side of the senior center, the back of the B wing, and also around the gym. The plants and trees are scheduled to be delivered now definitely tomorrow. Landscape architect will be on site to review and approve and or reject anything that comes off the truck as it comes off the truck. And they'll start planting. I believe they're going to key on the west side of the property. Gutters are complete. The downspouts are pending the completion of the siding. The HVAC units were delivered to the site and swung up to the roof with the crane. They are setting there now. A little tight up there. The units are pretty big and fairly tall. We're looking at potentially having some kind of a platform built around, especially the condensing units, because they sit on stands, and they're already about 6 feet tall because there's a hood on the top. So we have to look at the maintenance side for Kevin and his group. Installation of exterior trim is ongoing. The siding has started. However, we did note last week that we have in some areas some water infiltration issues through the zip wall. We did our own inspection. BH&A brought in Mike Belgi from BEA to take a look at it. Delphi brought in the zip wall representative, which is Uber. There were some areas where the zip wall tape was not adhering. Some were on seams, some were at windows. The windows may have something on them, not all of them, but just a few, that were creating a non-adhesion issue. We haven't got the report back from EEA yet. We're supposed to be getting a report. Also, Pella, I forgot, Pella also came out because of window issues. So we're suspecting that in some cases it's coming in around the bad tape joints. There's also some issues with thresholds at doors, but the items are being worked on, and they're being worked on prior to putting the siding in those specific areas. This last rain we had yesterday, because they had done some remedial work, the areas of water infiltration were much less. And there was some insulation that got wet that has been removed and replaced. The thin brick, the delivery of the senior center brick is expected to come next week, which means the masons will come back and start doing that work. Obviously, we're going to have to watch the temperature because even though this is a sort of a modified masonry system where the brick is being clipped into trays, the mortar joints in between are actually mortar. So we'll watch the temperature. If they have to cover it, they'll have to cover it. The brick for the recreation center is due the following week. They've started to install gypsum board on the second floor, and are also in the process of taping. They've got their first coat on a number of rooms up on the second floor. The elevator installation is ongoing. Delta Beckwith crew has not been to the site for a bit. I know they're trying to get them back to the site. It's not causing any kind of delay at this point. Delta Beckwith was actually working on both elevators simultaneously. The generator pad was poured. That will allow the generator that's stored off-site to be brought to the site and set in place. The trash pad adjacent to the soccer field was also poured. The MEP FPs are ongoing within the building. There is a ton of guys inside that building right now, running pipe, wire, and whatever they need to do, ductwork. So there's a good showing of those trades on the site, and Delphi's chasing them right around with the board guys putting up the sheetrock. Columbia Gas, we are chasing them a little bit to find out what date they will do the service. We did get all the paperwork we needed to signed very quickly once we got it. But as typical, we usually have to chase the utilities to get them out. The old gates entry, the one that we've been using to get to the trailers and enter the site, the demolition of that will be starting tomorrow, which means they will start using regularly the entrance to the new entrance in front of the senior center.
No problem bringing the
Rec
generator
center,
in, right? Steve, this is JD.
What about
No problem bringing a generator in at the other entrance?
So John had a question about just the
No.
logistics of bringing the generator on site with the closing that entrance, the old gate.
No, they wouldn't have come in that way anyway.
Okay.
They're gonna, that's gonna be craned in. You're not driving that thing in place. It's like a
Okay.
like a tractor trailer truck.
Okay.
That, you know, size wise. So that's gonna be craned in by Chet's Welding, which is a crane service and a rigger. So they should be fine with that.
Great.
The recreation center, like I said earlier, the elevator is ongoing. They had some issues with the hydro seat and needing touch up. Interior work, the MEPs are in there working today. The plumber was in there up on the second floor, piping up the new toilet rooms, and the tree number 1 that we've been talking about for a while, that is scheduled to be removed tomorrow by, I think it's Malfi Tree Service, which is being done through the DPW.
Okay.
Any questions on the progress before I start the photo doc?
Steve, this is Ed. I just had a question. You mentioned about the window leaks. Are there any requirements in the documents for air or water infiltration testing of the windows?
Good question, Ed. Actually, I forgot to mention that there is testing requirements for not every single window, but for, I believe it's 2 or 3 of each type. We really only have 2 types, casement and double hung, or actually they're single hung. So that is something I talked with H&A. We definitely want to do that. Even if we didn't have that in the spec, I would want to do it given what we're seeing, and I want to include some of the door openings too, especially because in some cases we have fixed doors. They're the size of doors. They look like doors, but they're really a fixed panel.
Yeah.
So we really don't want any kind of water infiltration, obviously, in a brand new building.
Right.
So now's the time to do it. The siding isn't up, but we don't want to really test the siding. We want to test the window unit itself, so it would be isolated by the testing company from whatever cladding was going around it.
How have the vendors and the manufacturers been standing by the products? Are they in support? Or?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because the zip wall representative, they sent two different people out at 2 different times. The first guy was obviously not as thorough as the second guy once that second guy came out, because he found a number of things that he wanted the contractor to address that the first guy didn't list. Matter of fact, Sean Lee, who did the framing, they were out today doing a lot of remedial work on the tape. So I think we got a much better rep inspector the second time from those guys. But like I said, we got BEA out there, Building Closure Associates, to look at it, and he's putting together his own report, but verbally he gave a list of items, and obviously BHA is going to put their report out also. So there's going to be a number of different reports out with listing items that have to be addressed.
Okay. How's the progress coming on the front drive there? Is that moving along?
I'm sorry, what was that? I lost you.
I was just wondering how the progress of the front driveway, the rework with the island and all that stuff, how's that coming along?
The granite hasn't been delivered yet. They're expecting it, well, they're hoping for that in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So they're not going to do anything with that until they actually have their materials on site.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but you know, they need to move on the you know, all that circle asphalt that has to be demolished around where the trailers are, the infill of the stone wall. There's nothing holding that up, so
Good.
they're going to start that. Like I said, they'll just use that entrance until such time as they start doing the island work, and we'll be coming in through Cudworth through the back gate.
That's right. Yeah, they established that, right? Good.
Yeah.
How's
And then once the islands are done, the workers can drive through that entry. We're just going to keep the delivery trucks from driving over those islands. So they'll continue to come in through the Cudworth gate.
Makes sense. Okay. How's the COVID compliance been with all the trades and everything? Everybody doing all right?
For the most part, yeah, we've had to get after them a few times for guys, you know, maybe having the mask and not having it pulled up. But they've been bringing their safety people in
Okay.
to continually remind the workers. And it's interesting, you walk through the site because we're all wearing masks. As soon as you come into a room, everybody pulls their mask up. So they know what they should be doing.
Yeah.
They have them there, you know, for the most part, even inside the building, there's space between the guys.
Sure.
But when we sort of said, let's make sure everybody has their masks up, so.
Yeah. It seems like mechanical rather than equipment, everything. There hasn't been any real delays with COVID, or everything's hitting the delivery dates.
Brick was delayed.
So far, yeah, we were concerned about, light fixtures and HVAC units and equipment, and so far, there hasn't been anything that's come back that's of real issue.
Okay. I only had one more. How'd the site perform with all that heavy rain, the drainage and everything?
Well, that heavy rain that came through was a really quick storm.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any washouts, any problems that were noted. And the rain from yesterday was light. I mean, there was areas of the site that were still damp, but we had no standing water anywhere.
Okay, that's good to hear. If we're not speaking, can we put the phones on mute? Someone's got a lot of background noise.
Or they're doing the dishes or something.
Yeah, we can hear a lot of kitchen noises. There we go.
Steve, this is Kevin. Just mentioning in reference to the rooftop equipment, we're going to have to add some snow rails and snow guards snow guards up there also.
Yeah, and then possibly a diverter of some kind. And I've got when I go into the folder doc, I got pictures of it, so
okay, great.
Really you'll be able to visualize what the issue is.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Does anybody on the phone on the board have any questions or comments? No? Okay. And then in the room here, JD John has a comment.
Steve, we've sort of talked about this, but just checking on the hydro seeding, and some of it, showed uneven ground. Is that going to necessitate more loam or just respreading what's there?
From the looks of it, I think they didn't do a good job fine graining it, raking it out. So they're going to need to do that. Of course, what will happen is it'll disturb the hydro seed,
right,
and they'll have to touch it up with another shot. But as a matter of fact, the hydro seed is sitting there in the parking lot. It's a little a trailer mounted unit, but they have other areas of hydro seed left to do. And bottom line, they owe us a fine graded surface with a full stand of grass.
Yeah.
So I'm really not quite sure why they went ahead and did that, but it was, it really became obvious with the hydro seed on it that there was tire marks, there was ruts, there was footprints.
Oh, wow.
There was just humps in it, and I got a couple photos of that too that you can see. But as soon as we looked at it, we said, no, this is no good.
Okay.
Or not fully reject it, but you're gonna have to address it. And if it's if it ruins everything, you're just gonna have to reshoot it with the hydro seed.
Yep, okay.
And the contractor's been receptive to that, are they?
He just said okay.
All right. All right.
Never anything they want to hear, but I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it was obvious when they looked at it.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Good. I think we're ready to move on to the photo log here.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is for today's meeting. The first photo is just showing the group from the BBC COA tour that we had on the 23rd. That's in the first floor lobby. Second, or slide 3. This is the energy recovery unit, ERV1, that's up on the roof. This is like the small flat section between the two pitched roofs. You've got a pitched roof on the north and one in the middle and one on the south. This is between essentially pitched roof 1 and 2. That one is not too bad as far as height goes. These are the ones that are a little tall. These are the condensing units, and these are sort of wedged in between the flat area between the west and the east pitch roofs. As you can see, that you have to put them on blocking to begin with on the roof. Then we've got some cross blocking. Then the stands that are recommended they be mounted on. Then the unit themselves. It's a little high. You can see the people walking beside it, and that's where also and Kevin was mentioning, if we're going to have some snow coming off of these roofs, the area behind these units, and you can't really see it in this photo, is where all the refrigerant piping comes out of the knee wall from the attic space, and will get connected to these condensing units. Really don't want snow and ice coming down and breaking those lines. It also the electrical will also be behind there. You can see the whips are hanging down, but those will be run behind the units. Everything will come through that east roof knee wall.
So what
There's one that's more to the south, sort of a single standing unit, good spacing around it, but we still have, we have to be able to reach it, so there's a height issue. And then the next slide is back again near the ERV. This is the kitchen makeup air unit. There's really no issues with reaching that particular unit, but it is awful tight up on that roof. Slide 7.
Steve, I have a question. I'm looking at one of the condensing units on the roof where the man is standing next to it, the single unit.
Yes.
Is that where it's going to be located?
It's set in place now, yes.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is being so high, hopefully they've taken into consideration wind load that may occur on these units.
I'm sure they have. I mean, we can ask, but they are somewhat protected by the roofs. They're at, in that one in particular, there is an opening on either end, essentially east and west. But anything coming from the south, which is on the right of that photograph, that roof you may not look at it, but that roof is higher than the unit.
Okay.
And
Just thought I'd bring that up, yeah.
Steve, this is Larry. I have a question on that same issue with the condensing units, that single one and the ones before. With respect to maintenance and the EPDM, is there any extra protection on the EPDM? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ladders and stuff like that are going to be putting pressure on certain points of that membrane.
There's walk pads that are required that aren't installed yet, and I'll
okay.
look at exactly what the layout is, but they certainly will usually wrap around each unit and then provide a pathway to.
Good.
To all
Good. I
the
just
units.
didn't see it there, so that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
No, it's not done yet. And we also have access, door access to all of these attic spaces, so that they'll have walkways up to those doors also.
Yeah, and I just am going to echo Carl's concerns. I'm just looking at the frame, the foundation that these units are sitting on, and I'm hoping that they're going to be strong enough in the wind.
Well, interestingly enough, when these frames first came out, I thought the same thing. I thought they're very sensitive, but this is the stand or support
standard, yeah.
that manufacturers are recommending. For the last, I'd say at least 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen them before, so it's new to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're familiar with them.
We have a bunch of them
They
around.
look a little weak.
We have a bunch of them
They
around
do.
site. We have a bunch of them around my site. And they do look interesting, but they stand up. I mean,
Good.
they've been there for a while. Hopefully there's
And this is Kevin. Just sorry to butt in, but just sharing. They are a little heftier than they appear. We've had them at a few other locations, but obviously not on a roof like that with potential wind. But it's probably good to note that we were concerned about the placement of the units also for both a wind and serviceability. Is that a word? And people working on the units and so forth. And Rachel was kind enough. It was hard to do so, but Rachel arranged for, we requested for Johnson Controls service manager to come out to the site before we approved the placement of the units to be sure that the units could be worked on after when they need service. And he agreed it's not the best setup, but it's something that they will be able to work on. We've got to get that some type of some type of
Platform or catwalk
booster,
or something.
platform or booster to get them up on it and the snow guards. But he was not worried about the weather conditions that they would face up there. So it was a good meeting.
That's good to hear.
Thanks.
That's good. Okay.
Okay. All right. I will. I'll continue with unless someone has another question on the HVAC units. All right. I'm on slide 7. This is just I got a few slides of the siding going up. This is the southeast gable that's being worked on, which was deemed okay to continue with the siding. This is the start of the siding. Slide 8 is start of siding on the west elevation. Slide 9, this was actually a photo I took today. They're working on the east elevation on the south end of the building, or above the porch roof. There's another area that had some remedial work that was deemed okay to install siding on. Slide number 10 Again, this was taken today. This is the progress on the west side. I've done the gable and a few of the high areas. This is the next slide is the continuation of that. Again, over the porch roof. This is the section of the building where the admin office is. Slide 12 is just a photo of one of the rooms showing the installation of the MEP FP rough ends and the soffit that's going around. This is the room the sports floor room. Fitness room. Thank you.
You got it.
The fitness room. The slide 13 is a gypsum board installation on the second floor, one of the program rooms. The next slide is also that same room, showing gypsum board on the dividing walls and on the exterior insulated walls. There's sound bath insulation between the rooms also. You can see it peeking out at the top. The next slide is showing gypsum board with the joint tape and first coat going on, joint compound on the seams. Next slide again, just another room that's being worked on. This is the south room. On the second, everything's on the second floor. They're not ready on the first floor yet. Next slide is showing the progress on the elevator installation. They got the rails in, they got the platform in, some of the cabling, the controllers are in the elevator machine room. Next slide 18 is showing this is the area adjacent to the veterans gym that they hydroseeded, but you can see tire marks in it, ruts in it. Really was not ready to be hydroseeded. And this is on the other side of that's where our new parking lot is. Again, a bunch of footprints and scuff marks within that loam. That should be a nice smooth, not necessarily level, but a smooth contour with the finish grade. Slide 20, just showing the generator pad. They just poured that. Again, we'll be able to set the generator. The ADS piping is sleeves for the future fence that goes around it, for the post. They get set in concrete. Slide 21 is the trash pad. Again, that's adjacent to the ball field out behind the B wing. And there'll be a fence around that eventually. And we're looking at it didn't originally call for swing gates to close it off, but Rachel's looking at how we can do that effectively to make sure that doesn't become a community trash bin. And then the last photo is this is the infamous tree that's going to be cut down tomorrow. That's at the corner of the gymnasium. It's got rot through the trunk. So big tree, but not safe right now. Any questions on the photos?
No, I have none.
Nope.
No, I don't have any.
Just a few other issues. The FF&E packages have been sent out for bid. An addenda went out, but the bids are due on Friday. They were sent to 4 bidders. I know Linda can give an update. There was a meeting today about some of the color selections. I'll let her talk about that. Last week I attended the planning board meeting because the revision to the parking monitoring plan had submitted that. It was on their agenda, and that has been approved. And it's been approved for once the senior center is in full operation. They were asking for a date or when that would be, and I said very difficult to say. One thing is, we're going to get, essentially it's somewhere around the beginning of February. That's when we have furniture moving in. It doesn't mean it's going to be fully operational at that point, but I also said we still got the COVID issue, so it's sort of an unknown at this point. So they agreed with that and said that, once we have to appear before them one more time when everything is fully operational, so that there's a start to the 6-month period of monitoring.
Steve.
John Miller has a comment.
So,
Yeah.
Steve, just so I've lost track. What is the monitoring program that's going to kick in then?
So what was put into the decision letter from the planning board was that once the senior center was open and running, that the parking, the activity of the parking lot would be monitored for a period of 6 months.
Okay.
See what kind of numbers were coming in for parking. Ultimately, for them to decide, once they had the report and the data back, to decide whether the future parking lot that we had designated on the plan needed to be installed or not.
Right.
So we're gonna have, there's gonna be a spreadsheet, and they asked for a bunch of information to be tracked. So we're gonna have some kind of spreadsheet to make it easy as possible for, the people that are doing the monitoring, which is going to be once an hour during hours of operation, Monday to Friday, for 6 months.
Oof.
So there's going to be a fair amount of data.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Par Corp will take that data and they'll make their recommendation in a report. We'll submit that to the planning board, and then they'll decide whether that parking lot, that future 16-spot parking lot, will need to be actually instructed or not.
Okay.
Is there budget set aside for that in case it does?
I do now, yes. I'm holding some money in the overall budget for that. I'm hoping I don't have to use it for something else that's more imminent, but yes, I am. I'm holding some construction money. I'm holding some. It'll have to be designed, so I have some design money held aside.
Okay.
I mean, I had offered to the planning board that maybe we just put it in now. It may have saved some headache, but they wanted the parking monitoring plan, so we went ahead and revised it, and we'll be able to give them that data as they requested, and as part of that decision letter from last September.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Also, we did take a look at the B wing in the event that possibly the food pantry was to go into that B wing. I don't think it's 100% certain yet, but we looked at it today with the town administrator. Kevin was there, VHA. We do have a plan of where handicap parking can be if it's necessary. We got a curb cut that's already there that they can use to get to that door. There's a few cost things that we're looking at, but we had that we had that meeting on site today.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on the project? No? All right. On to the next item on the agenda here. It's just an update. Steve, you already kind of gave a little update on the FF&E and the finishes committee, but Linda, I don't know if you just want to give a brief where we're at and how things are going. That'd be great.
Sure. No, I have a couple of things. So yes, we had an initial meeting today with the architect and designer on proposed finishes, colors, materials for the furnishings. The bids are due Friday at noon, as Steve said, and Rachel plans to set up a meeting to review early next week for Monday or more likely Tuesday, I guess. I think we have a question for Nancy, if she's there, about whether we will need to have executed a contract with the winning bidder, so to speak, or if we would generate a letter of intent earlier or more quickly to open up conversation with that group, if possible.
You need to award a contract.
She said you need to award a contract.
Okay. So we don't know what the timing for that might be. Anyway, we were planning to have a meeting on the following Friday, October 23rd, to maybe finalize or get closer to finalizing the finishes and the materials for the furnishings, just not knowing whether that would involve some questions with the winning bidder. So at that point, we'd have some larger samples and obviously would know, I assume, the bidder that won the job. So
right. So you bid out. You bid out to 4 companies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they all get just a list of materials, and so they'll all be bidding on a similar thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, whole package. I mean, some things, substitutions are allowed. Some things maybe we're not.
Right.
There were some questions that came in that Rachel did answer in an addendum that went out, the first of the week, this week, Tuesday.
Yeah, I think you should get back some quality
otherwise,
stuff. And I mean, you were specific on, I remember, delivery and particulars about, costing of delivery and install and dates.
Yes, well, I believe so. Installation date was February 1 for everybody. I
Right.
think some questions might have come in on how delivery or the cost of delivery might work into the proposal.
Yeah, I
We'll see.
think you had a pretty fairly comprehensive proposal. Hopefully we get back some good answers and some quality bids, and you can move on it and execute.
And they can negotiate.
Yeah,
with
so I guess we'd hope maybe, I know
Sorry,
Katie's in the room. If,
Nancy did have a comment.
Stephanie's on the call. But if we could have the subcommittee there even on Friday along with myself and the board members on the committee, my board members, that'd be great. Next Friday, we didn't set a time, but the 23rd.
Yeah, just send me a reminder, Linda, and I can send something out. And you have a comment, Nancy?
I think that once they have a low bidder, they can negotiate with the bidder on
Sure.
certain items too.
So Nancy said once you have a bidder, low bidder, you can negotiate at that point further,
Before having a contract signed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you have to negotiate with that bidder.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Linda, this is Stephanie. I can make it that day as long as it's kind of after the lunch time.
Okay.
That's good.
All right.
If
I
that's
can say
helpful,
that.
I don't know. I know you said you're still debating on time, but if it's like later in the afternoon, the better, I guess.
Okay. 1 o'clock-ish, maybe? We'll work on that.
That might. I have to confer with another.
Okay. All right. I can see later, maybe.
Good. All right, so that's good. I'm glad the bids went out. Things are moving along. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for working on that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments from the board on finishes and all that good stuff? No? All right. Moving right along, the next item on the agenda here is just there's no change orders, but there's a couple purchase orders and bills to review here, so we'll take the time to do that. Steve, if you want to walk us through some of these, that'd be great.
Yeah, why don't we start off with Delphi Construction's application for payment number 9. That's submitted for work that's been completed through September 30th, month of September. The amount is $1,257,104.59. That brings the project to 57.24% complete, based on the schedule values. The architect certified the application for payment on October 13th. The invoice is for costs that are associated with the senior center, being masonry, mist metals, carpentry, siding, insulation, roofing, windows, drywall, painting, food service equipment, elevator, fire suppression, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, site work, and landscaping. Work in the recreation center included masonry, mist metals, framing, roofing, light gauge framing, elevator, and electrical, and then Delphi's general conditions and change orders. Again, that amount is $1,257,104.59 that we are recommending be approved.
Okay. Yeah, I looked over. It looked pretty consistent with where we're at in the project. And all that good stuff. It brings us to about a little over halfway build out, correct?
Yep, 57%.
57. Okay. Any questions on the invoice from the board or anybody? No.
Nope. No.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve Delphi Construction application for payment number 9 for services through September 30th in the amount of $1,257,104.59. Invoices has been certified by architects and OPM. They're for associated costs, as Steve Kirby noted, for senior center and recreation center. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry. Can do a roll call, Lucia. That'd be great.
Carl?
Yes.
Al?
Al's not a voting member of this one.
Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yep.
JD?
Yes.
And that's everyone that's
And Ed.
here,
Go
correct?
ahead. Ed DeSalvio says yes too.
Ed. Yes. Okay, thank you, Ed.
All right. All members are in favor, so the motion passes for the purchase order. Great.
Okay, the next one would be the monthly invoice for Bargman Hendry Archetype, invoice number 24763 for the month of September, in the amount of $18,643.60. It includes construction administration to 76% and FF&E to 82%. Vertex reviewed it and is recommending this invoice for approval.
Yeah, I looked over it. It looks pretty consistent with the monthly billing to date. Pretty standard stuff. I didn't have any questions or concerns or comments on it. Anybody else have anything?
No. No.
All right.
No.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve invoice number 24763 BH plus A for services through September 30th in the amount of $18,643.60. Invoices associated with work on construction administration and FF&E. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl. If you could do a quick roll call, Alicia.
Yep. Linda?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
JD?
Yes.
Ed?
Yep, yep.
Larry?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes. Is it everyone? All right. Yeah, all in favor, so the motion passes. Great. And the last one we have is, you go ahead, Steve, yeah.
Well, last one is our invoice, Vertex's invoice number 134756, and for the month of September, in the amount of $25,750.
So yeah, I looked over this, pretty consistent with the previous month's billing for the project. It's inclusive of, regular service work, some HVAC commissioning from Amendment 1, and some materials testing billing from Amendment 2. Yeah, I don't know. Any questions or comments from the board on the invoice? No.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
I'd like to make a motion to approve invoice number 0134756 to Vertex Companies for services through the end of September in the amount of $25,750. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Linda. I think Linda jumped in there. So Linda,
I did.
and that's it. If you could do a quick roll call, Alicia, that'd be great.
Ed?
Yep.
JD?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
All right, that's everyone. All right, all in favor. So the motion passes on the invoice. Great. All right, I think that's all we had in the senior
All right.
center.
The only other thing I have, Steve, is a request that I'm pretty sure we're going to have change order 8 or 8 or yes, it would be change order 8 is the next change order ready for the next meeting. We do have a few items that are okay, but there was some credit, so it wasn't really impacting the work they were doing. But I want to try and work through a couple of other ones. If we could schedule a meeting for the 28th, because Wednesdays work much better for me than Tuesdays.
Okay. Let me put the feelers out on that one and see if I know we had the meeting scheduled for the 27th already, but yeah, I can get back to you on that.
Okay, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
That's all. That's really all I have for this for the senior rec center project.
Okay, great.
I have that one other invoice.
Oh yeah. We do have one more invoice, right? That's true. So we do have an invoice here. It was something we voted on last meeting. It was for the gaming table with the purchase of that. I think we did not to exceed
500.
and vote on that for $500. The purchase order, the bill came in at $449.10. I don't know if there's any questions or comments or anything on this invoice. There being none. So yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve invoice for the senior center gaming table in the amount of $449.10. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by JD. You do a quick roll call, Alicia, that'd be great.
Ed,
Yep.
JD,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
All right, that's everyone. So everyone approves, so the motion passes, so that's great. All right, good. So that wraps it up for the senior center project. Any old or new business? I think, Al's on the line here. I don't know, Al, if you want to chat about it. I know we had some plans passed over to us by the fire chief to look over for just a sanity check. They're going out to bid, or not to bid, but they're getting some pricing on the fire station in Hummerock. So I don't know if Al, you want to chat, or I know you were hanging on the line.
No, I don't really have anything to add to that. I know the bids are due. I think the subcontractor bids are due this week, and then in a couple of weeks, the general contractor bid is due.
Okay.
I know the chief sent you a copy of the plans, so if you'd like to share them, with the rest of the board,
We will.
feel free. I know you haven't been involved with the project to this point, but I think the chief wanted to keep you in the loop as to what was happening.
Yeah. So I'll distribute those, and we put our eyes and ears and eyes on them. If anybody sees anything crazy, feel free to message the chief or Al and get a message over to them. So good.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's Steve. It's Steve Kirby. The file sub-bid they did. There wasn't an addenda went out, but the file sub-bids are due the end of the week, and then the GC bid is on the 30th.
Okay. All right. Good. And then we do have one new piece of business. So it looks like there's going to be some changes on the board here. Unfortunately, Ed's given his nose. He's given a good long run at it, and appreciate all his work over the years. It's been it's tough doing this over the phone. You know what I mean, without being in person here. But Ed, we can't say enough in thanking you and all your help and support over the years. It's been definitely
Yeah, thank
good.
you.
Likewise, Ed, thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
So
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Ed's last meeting.
Thanks,
will be,
Ed. We'll be in touch.
Miss you.
Thank you, Ed.
So Ed's last meeting will be next meeting on the 27th or 28th if we have it on the 28th. So, but yeah, thank you very much. I know you done got a lot of projects between the libraries and assessments on properties.
Going back to the Jenkins School and the first high school renovation. Yeah.
Wow.
20 plus years.
Yes.
No,
It's been over 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
I'd say you've certainly done your time and put in effort for the town. Much appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you.
So who gets you next, Ed?
Gets to relax a little, I think. Hopefully.
All right, good.
A little bit of a break.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Well, you're always welcome back, and keep you in the loop on things.
Great, thank you.
So yeah, that was all I had for the meeting. Unless anybody's got anything else, no.
Nothing for me.
All right. So there being nothing, I'd like to make a motion
Not
to adjourn the meeting at 8:01. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carl. Can you do a quick roll call, Alicia? That'd be great.
Ed,
Yep.
JD,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
Great. That's everybody. So the motion passes. So Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Appreciate the
everybody.
time.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, good
Okay,
night,
bye-bye.
Take care.
thank
Good night,
you,
everybody.
Steve. Bye-bye.